Across the country, small farms are finding ways to survive without selling out to factory systems. From agritourism to direct-to-consumer models, these farmers are proving you can build $1 million business and still stay true to the land. This is what real independence in farming looks like. We're talking about an alpaca treehouse charging $700 a night, a pasture-raised egg brand doing over $600 million a year, and a one-acre farm pulling six figures stacking tiny animals most farmers ignore. We're counting down 8 farms proving you don't need thousands of acres to win. And I'll break down why these models work. Let's get into it. Number 8. Emma's one-acre farm. Most people think you need large acreage to make a living from livestock. Emma's one-acre farm blows that myth apart. By stacking multiple high-value micro-livestock enterprises onto 1 acre, Emma built a system that generates over $100,000 per acre annually, a number most small farmers never get close to. So what's the secret? Specialization and stacking. Instead of competing in crowded markets for beef, pork, or chicken, Emma focuses on premium niches where scarcity drives price and direct-to-consumer prices. Quail eggs selling for $6 to $8 per dozen heritage rabbit meat, moving for $1 to $14 per pound composted manure packaged and sold as organic garden gold for $15 to $1.20 a bag. And she stacks these revenue streams so nothing goes to waste. Quail manure feeds her worm bins, worms-enriched compost for premium soil products. Rabbit meat and hides move through consumer sales at boutique prices. By diversifying across several livestock products, Emma isn't reliant on a single income stream. But here's why this works for her, and why it's hard to replicate. 1. Direct-to-consumer sales are essential. Without loyal buyers willing to pay top dollar, these numbers don't exist. Every inch of space matters. One missed cycle in her rotational setup can bottleneck the entire system. It's highly labor-intensive. Managing multiple small flocks and herds, constant marketing, and endless customer education takes precision and energy. Emma spends just as much time on marketing and customer relationships as she does caring for her livestock. She's constantly educating buyers, running social media, and creating trust so she can charge $6 to $8 for quail eggs when the grocery store sells them for less. There's a difference that has to be communicated to customers. That trust is what lets her sell every batch before it's even produced. Emma proves you can make 6 figures on just 1 acre. But what if you could make 7 figures without selling a single animal? That's exactly what our next farm pulled off. Number 7. The alpaca treehouse. Imagine running a livestock farm where tourists pay $300 to $600 a night to stay in your treehouse, and the alpacas do the marketing for you. That's exactly what the alpaca treehouse in Atlanta has pulled off, and they've built a good business by combining animal agritourism, lodging, and experiences. The concept is deceptively simple. People don't just want to see alpacas, they want to have an experience they can't get anywhere else. Guests stay overnight in treehouses surrounded by bamboo and grazing alpacas and llamas, book private farm tours, and pay extra for feed and photography sessions. The farm's brand exploded on Instagram and TikTok, where their videos regularly go viral, driving thousands of visitors from all over the world. So how do they make money? It's not just from nightly rates. Overnight stays. Treehouses at $350 to $725 per night, booked in advance alpaca experiences, $35 to $65 per person for farm walks, selfies, and private feedings. Weddings and events, high-margin packages for small, intimate ceremonies, plus branded alpaca products and wool goods. But here's what makes this model succeed, and why it's hard to replicate. Location, location, location. They're just minutes from a major U.S. city, giving them access to millions of potential visitors, which is key for agritourism. Social media dominance. Viral video content drives nearly all bookings. Without strong online visibility, their model wouldn't work. Experience. Everything about the experience, the cabins, the photo ops, the branding, screams exclusivity, which justifies the pricing. Most importantly, the alpacas aren't the business, the experience is. They've built a model where it's more than just meeting animals. It's experiencing them in a unique way they can't do otherwise. And while the alpaca treehouse thrives by combining tourism with livestock, our next farm blends community-driven agritourism with hands-on, immersive education. And they're pulling in over $1.5 million a year by putting dairy at the center of a wildly popular destination experience. Number 6. Tomerup's Dairy Farm. While many small dairy farms are shutting down, Tomerup's Dairy Farm in Queensland, Australia, has built one of the most successful agritourism models in the world, generating over $1.5 million per year. Here's the difference. Tomerup's didn't just add farm stays or events like so many dairies try. They rebuilt their entire business around the visitor experience and turned the farm itself into the brand. The Tomerup family designed tiered premium experiences that keep guests spending. Milking experiences. Guests hand-milk heritage cows for $35, $50 per person, creating hands-on memories that sell themselves on social media. Luxury farm stays, on-site cottages, and camping start at $300 a night and book out months ahead. Paddock-to-plate dining limited-seat events where guests enjoy beef, cheese, and cream produced right on the farm. Animal encounters, calves, goats, and heritage pigs become Instagram-ready attractions that drive constant organic marketing. So why does Tomarups thrive while thousands of other dairy farms struggle, even ones offering similar attractions? 1. They flipped their revenue structure. Most dairies still rely on milk as the core business and treat agritourism as extra. Tomarups reversed that. Experiences, stays, and events are the business, and milk supports the story, not the other way around. They invested heavily in storytelling and marketing. Tomarups built a high-end brand identity that resonates with eco-tourists and food-conscious travelers worldwide. They don't just sell a farm stay, they sell heritage, connection, and meaning. Their storytelling converts one-time visitors into loyal advocates who market the farm for them. They control scarcity and pricing. Instead of maximizing visitor volume, Tomarups limits availability. Exclusive events, limited bookings, and curated experiences allow them to charge a premium while creating a sense of urgency. Most dairies compete on price. Tomarups competes on status and emotion. Tomarups proves one thing. If you want 7 figures from livestock plus agritourism, you can't just bolt tourism onto a dairy. You have to make the farm itself the experience and build a brand people are willing to travel for. And if Tomarups shows how to turn livestock into premium, experience-driven income, our next farm proves you can do the same thing globally, attracting thousands of international visitors every year and turning sheep into a $2 million tourism magnet. Number 5. Cooperative Farm. How 1,500 sheep built a $2M plus global tourism magnet. If you think livestock agritourism is just a side hustle, Cooperative Farm in Tasmania is the model that proves otherwise. What started as a modest sheep operation has transformed into a multi-million-dollar tourism destination, attracting visitors from over 50 countries every year, and the genius lies in how they turned sheep into a global brand. Cooperative runs around 1,500 sheep on 750 acres, but here's the key. Meat and wool sales are no longer their primary revenue drivers. Tourism now generates over $2 million annually, and the sheep are the heart of an immersive, multi-layered visitor experience. Sheep shearing shows, live demonstrations priced at $25 to $45 per person, giving tourists an inside look at Tasmanian sheep farming. Guided farm tours. Visitors learn about regenerative grazing practices, soil health, and wildlife conservation while walking the pastures. Luxury farm stays. Eco-friendly cottages overlooking rolling fields start at $250 a night and often book out 6 months in advance. Paddock-to-plate dining. High-end meals featuring farm-raised lamb and local wines cost $100 plus per guest and frequently sell out. So why is Cooperative thriving when so many other sheep farms struggle to make agritourism profitable? 1. They built a tourism-first model, not a farming-first model. This unlocks higher margins and recurring revenue that meat and wool alone can't match. They went global, not local. Instead of relying on Tasmanian visitors, Cooperative markets internationally to eco-tourists from Asia, Europe, and the US. They've built partnerships with luxury travel operators and inbound tour groups, ensuring a steady pipeline of high-spending tourists willing to pay premium prices. They invested heavily in infrastructure and branding. Cooperative built architect-designed cottages, designed curated guest packages, and built a polished online brand that resonates globally. They don't compete with small, budget-friendly farm stays. They own the premium slot in the Tasmanian tourism market. Location and vision make Cooperative hard to copy, but the strategy is powerful. They prove that small to mid-sized livestock farms can compete at a global scale by turning animals into experiences and selling a story, not just a product. And while Cooperative brings the world to its gates, our next farm has done something entirely different, turning a single farm into one of the most influential models in agriculture today, shaping how thousands of other farmers run their businesses. Number 4. Polyface Farms. When people talk about profitable livestock done differently, one farm almost always comes up. Joel Salatin's Polyface Farm in Virginia. On just 500 acres, Polyface grosses around $1.8 million per year. But the number isn't the real story. What makes Polyface extraordinary is how they've done it, stacking enterprises, rejecting industrial systems, and transforming transparency into both a brand and a movement. Here's what sets Polyface apart. Multi-species, multi-revenue streams. Cattle, pigs, chickens, turkeys, rabbits, and sheep are all integrated into a rotational grazing system that regenerates soil and creates premium products. Direct-to-consumer dominance. Polyface skips middlemen entirely, selling to buying clubs, restaurants, and customers directly, keeping over 90% of the final sale price. Education plus influence as a business. Farm tours, on-site workshops, online courses, books, speaking events, and consulting add hundreds of thousands in revenue annually. But here's what most people miss. Polyface isn't just a farm, it's a brand. Joel Salatin built a global audience through books, TED Talks, and documentaries like Food Inc. That visibility drives constant demand for everything they sell, from online courses to premium eggs to high-dollar farm tours. And there's another factor many overlook: labor economics. Polyface attracts hundreds of interns and apprentices every year, many working unpaid or for minimal stipends, because they want to learn Salatin's methods. That access to low-cost labor dramatically reduces overhead, making stacking so many enterprises feasible where other farms would struggle to break even. So why can't most farms copy Polyface's model? 1. Audience-first economics. Polyface's revenue doesn't just come from farming, it comes from Salatin's influence and reputation. Without that visibility, the direct-to-consumer premium pricing is far harder to achieve. Complex stacking systems. Managing 6 or more integrated livestock enterprises requires tight scheduling, infrastructure, and high levels of staff, time plus trust. Polyface spent decades building customer loyalty and an audience that buys into its philosophy, not just its products. Polyface shows that you can hit 7 figures on reasonable acreage, but only if you stack revenue streams intelligently, build an audience, and leverage influence. And while Polyface dominates in premium food and education, the next farm built a $20M plus regenerative empire by controlling the entire supply chain from pasture to plate. And it might be the boldest meat business in America. Number 3. White Oak Pastures. Imagine a 156-year-old family cattle ranch in Bluffton, Georgia, on the brink of decline, until Will Harris decided to reinvent everything. Today, White Oak Pastures generates $20 to $28 million annually, and has become one of the most influential regenerative livestock operations in the U.S. What makes White Oak different isn't just diversity, it's control. Most farmers raise 1 or 2 animals, sell into industrial markets, and get pennies on the dollar. White Oak flipped that script. They raise 10 different livestock species: cattle, sheep, goats, pigs, poultry, and ducks, across 3,200 acres using regenerative grazing. They process everything on site in 2 USDA-inspected facilities, keeping ownership of their product from pasture to packaging. They sell directly to consumers, restaurants, and nationwide wholesale accounts, keeping far more profit at every step. This vertical integration is what sets them apart. By owning a lot of the value chain, White Oak avoids relying on middlemen who eat up profits. Instead, they control quality, pricing, and distribution, which allows them to compete nationally while staying true to their mission. But there's another reason Will Harris succeeded where many regenerative farms struggle. He turned White Oak into a voice and a movement. Will has become one of the most visible advocates for regenerative agriculture in the U.S., featured in documentaries, speaking on national stages, and educating thousands of farmers. That visibility drives consumer trust, chef demand, and direct-to-consumer loyalty in a way most farms can't replicate. It's also worth noting that White Oak leveraged partnerships and grants, including USDA funding to build its processing infrastructure. This wasn't luck, it was strategy. Will actively teaches other farmers how to integrate livestock, improve soils, and access funding streams, helping build a stronger network of regenerative producers nationwide. White Oak Pastures proves that stacking livestock plus full control of the value chain plus brand visibility can scale regenerative farming into a multi-million-dollar business. But it also shows why most small farms struggle to copy this model. Without processing capacity, direct-to-consumer trust, and a strong public platform, it's very hard to compete at this level. And if you think $20 million is impressive, our next example built a nationwide network of 600-plus small family farms, scaled into a $200M plus premium meat company, and did it all without becoming another factory farm. Number 2. Nyman Ranch. Back in the 1970s, Bill Nyman started a tiny cattle operation in Northern California with one goal: raise animals better and sell meat people could actually trust. Today, Nyman Ranch has grown into a $200M plus premium meat company. But here's the twist. They didn't do it by becoming a single massive farm. Instead, Nyman Ranch built a national network of over 600 small independent family farms specializing in heritage pork, grass-fed beef, and pasture-raised lamb. Farmers raise animals under strict humane and regenerative standards, and Nyman handles the branding, marketing, processing, and nationwide distribution. The result? Small family farms get access to premium pricing and stable long-term contracts, while consumers and chefs get high-quality meat raised outside of industrial factory systems. It's one of the few models proving that ethical livestock farming can scale without forcing animals into confinement or cutting corners on quality. The business thrives because they own the brand. When high-end restaurants, Whole Foods, and major grocery chains want premium pork or beef, Nyman Ranch delivers a consistent product nationwide. Farmers get predictability, customers get trust, and Neiman takes a cut from every sale. But here's why this isn't simple to replicate. The model only works if you have enough small farms willing to follow strict protocols. Building that kind of network, managing quality control across hundreds of producers, and competing with cheaper industrial meat requires serious coordination and brand power. Neiman Ranch cracked the code by proving small farms don't have to compete against each other. They can work together under one premium brand and win big against factory-scale competitors. And yet, even at $200 million, they're not the top of this list. The One farm scaled a single livestock product into a $606 million empire. And they did it without abandoning ethics or quality. Number 1. Vital Farms, a $606 million pasture-raised egg empire. Imagine turning something as simple as eggs into a $600 million business, and doing it without factory farms. That's exactly what Vital Farms pulled off. And it's reshaping how America thinks about livestock, branding, and scaling small farms. Founded in 2007 in Austin, Texas, Vital Farms started with just 20 hens on one pasture. Fast forward to today, and they've built a nationwide network of more than 300 small family farms, producing pasture-raised eggs that now dominate grocery shelves across the country. In 2024, they reported $606 million in annual revenue from eggs. So, how did they pull it off? First, they created the category. Back in 2007, pasture-raised wasn't a thing most shoppers understood. You had cage-free and free-range, but Vital Farms positioned themselves as the ethical alternative. A premium egg you could feel good about buying. That branding became their superpower. Second, they scaled without becoming industrial. Instead of building massive confinement barns, Vital Farms partners with small independent farmers. Each farm raises around 20,000 to 25,000 hens on rotating pastures under strict welfare standards. Vital Farms supplies the chicks, the feed, the logistics, and the marketing. And farmers get paid a stable, above-market rate per dozen eggs produced. This decentralized model allows them to grow nationwide while keeping production local, humane, and high quality. It's small farms feeding into a big national brand, and that combination unlocked scale nobody thought was possible in eggs. But here's what's critical to understand. This isn't easy to replicate. Vital Farms invested millions into national marketing, logistics, and distribution to compete with industrial players. They didn't just sell eggs, they built an identity, turning their brand into a household name that commands a premium price. And it worked. While conventional eggs can sell for $2 or $3 a dozen, Vital Farms pasture-raised eggs routinely fetch $6 to $8 per dozen. And customers are lining up for them. Vital Farms shows that if you want to scale a livestock business past the $1 million mark, it's not just about producing a great product. It's about building a brand, creating a category, and giving consumers a story they want to buy into. So what did you think? The farms we just explored prove something big. The path to building a $1 million livestock business isn't about doing more of the same. It's about finding your unique advantage and leaning into it. So here's the takeaway. You don't need thousands of acres or a massive herd to build something big. You need a strategy that plays to your strengths, whether that's a rare breed, a niche market, or creating an experience people can't stop talking about. Now I want to hear from you. If you could build your dream farm business, would you focus on premium products, high-value experiences, or scaling production like Vital Farms? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one. And if this video sparked ideas for you, hit like so. More farmers and homesteaders can find it. Subscribe if you want deeper dives into high-profit farming models, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next.